You had quite a day over there at Lambeau yesterday.
We had a lovely day. Let me just say this before we get started. I enjoy, more than anything else about this job that I've been doing for a long time, I enjoy talking to players the most. It's my favorite part of the job. I mean, it leads to then telling their stories, which obviously is what my passion is. But I love talking to players. And that had not happened, other than here and there a text message since January 13th when they cleaned out their lockers. So talking to Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, Edgerrin Cooper, Jaden Reed, Aaron Banks, the new number 65. Looks good on him. It's a slimming number. It was great. I had a great time. It was awesome. And I think we got a lot of really interesting things from those conversations. I am fascinated by the fact and the way that Jordan Love handled a question that I asked him about what Aaron Rodgers did in his third year as the starter. I prefaced it with, I don't want to compare you to the previous guy, but then I compared him to the previous guy. And him basically saying, yeah, look, the Super Bowl is the goal. That should be our goal, which I thought was really good. And I really appreciated that he took that on, just the way he took on questions about his injuries. And while Matt LaFleur might have made a bunch of excuses for his production, Jordan Love made none. That's one of the many things I like about him. So you know this from my time covering you. There are no conversations. I love coaches. They're great to talk to. I learn a lot every time I talk to them. But there's nothing better than talking to players. Speaking of which, before we get into any Packers stuff, the players who will be participating in the AmFam Celebrity Foursome at the AmFam Championship, I saw the list. There was a member of my Mount Rushmore of Packers I've covered. But it wasn't you.
Rodgers?
No. Although I do believe he is an insurance pitchman free agent, much like he is
Dorsey?
as a quarterback. It's not Dorsey.
Huh?
It's not Dorsey Levens. It's not you. Rodgers, as we discussed, is not on the Mount Rushmore.
Well, yeah, you say he's not, but everybody thinks he is.
Well, they're wrong. I was very honest about that.
They're wrong according to you, but according to most people, no. Charles Woodson
It's my
would be my
Mount
guess.
Rushmore.
Yeah, I know, but you're trying to weave through things. But
I'm not.
He's not on yours, but he's on ours according to you.
Mm-hmm. Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert. Who has been,
snap.
I don't want to say slandered on this program, because that would be too strong. But
Yeah, he hasn't been slandered.
Poo-pooed?
He's been
hey, happy haircut, Jesse.
Oh, thank you.
Did you go to the
He
same
has
place
been,
that Jim Rutledge did?
I did not, as far as I know.
I think he's been accurately assessed on this show, and that's not slander. It's just not. I'm not going to glaze him. You guys can glaze him.
You don't
He's an
think
Oregon
he's
guy,
very
so you're
good.
Glaze City.
Jordan Love has one more playoff
fine.
win than he does.
You don't think he's very good, but that's okay. So what happened?
No,
I thought you were going to make your
don't put
triumphant
words in my
return.
mouth. I don't think he's. I think he's fine. I don't think he's the superstar. Like, he's not in the tierdom. If I'm not going to put Joe Burrow in the tierdom with Josh Allen and Lamar and Mahomes, I'm certainly not putting her. I put Herbert in the same boat as Jordan Love, and that's where he belongs. That's where both those guys both have to prove their next steps. That's not slander.
Herbert will be fine in the foursome as long as they don't go to a playoff.
How long did you have that holstered? As soon as you saw the announcement.
You could see him.
Yeah.
He was itching, like chomping to get that out of his mouth. About
That feels
10
like
minutes
slander to me. So that's a great segue, because you clearly don't want to talk about the fact that you were left off the celebrity foursome once
What do
again.
you want
but
me
hey,
to talk about?
You want a title?
I'm a champion. I'm a champion.
I choose not to play, like Seinfeld choosing not to run. Okay, fine.
I did text the tournament director yesterday as I was getting info and understanding what was all happening, and I told him that I was unavailable. So, just so you know, I let Nate know I was unavailable to play on that Saturday. We got a baseball tournament, so I can't go.
Okay. Do you think that do you think that's the reason why you weren't asked?
Yeah, I would bet that's probably.
So they called me a ham instead. Oh, well, Tausch can't do it. Let's call me a ham.
It's actually funny because, and I'm not going to, relay any pertinent information from my correspondences, but I thought it was John Hamm at first, the old madman. I thought John Hamm was going to be the golfer, and I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. An old ham bone was a player.
He's a pretty accomplished actor.
And then I thought you just start getting everybody Ham. So you'd have Mia, John, Matt Hamilton, and then that old fullback for the Vikings back in the day.
What about Darvin?
And then you got Darvin Ham.
Yeah.
You could get Darvin. They could literally make a complete foursome, sixsome, eightsome just out of hams.
C.J. Ham, is that who you were trying to come up with there?
That could be.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Well,
Jeff Hammonds. What was the old
Jeffrey
GM
Hammonds,
for
one flap down, right? Or was that Jeffrey Leonard?
That was Jeff Leonard.
Jeffrey Hammonds was the outfielder the Brewers overpaid for in the early 2000s, who didn't pan out. Yeah.
Who was the old GM that drafted Giannis?
John Hammond.
Was his name Hammonds?
John Hammond.
Yeah. There's
Hammond.
another guy you could throw in the mix.
Yeah. Well, that would be quite the eightsome if they were like honey glazed hams or whatever that company is. That would be perfect for them. All right. So I heard the courtesy laugh of Kay Adams there. Jesse hit the hot key there. I did not deliver one of those yesterday. There were others. Maybe it was authentic. But I do want to get to this clip as quickly as possible because I am very curious to get your assessment. But before that, I do want to say this.
You just said I can't wait.
I know, but I want.
Seems like you can.
My hope is that there's a chance that maybe we can stay somewhat on the clock today. We don't have any guests scheduled to appear.
What?
Yeah, I know. Well, we got an air check coming up. So, I just wanted to say
air
that
checking today.
No, we've got one coming up. I said, put it.
This reminds me of like cleaning before the maid comes over. Like
put it on your calendar.
Why change who we are at this point? Like
it was on
it
was on my calendar and it keeps getting changed. So why would I put it on the calendar? I just assume it's not going to work. All right, continue.
Yeah,
continue.
Okay. There were a lot of interesting things yesterday, so we're going to have a lot that we want to get to. So if today is a day where you're sitting there on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter or on the radio terrestrially or on the stream, wherever you are, if there are days where you go, boy, Tausch is brilliant, man. He comes up with some of the craziest, funniest stuff, but I really need some Packers. Knock on wood, that should not be an issue today. We got a lot to get to. Including that maybe my diagnosis. I'm hopeful. Kevin Bacon. Oh, Ham. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, Matt in West Bend. It's been a while since we've heard from Matt in West Bend. He must be busy or he just didn't have any material. So I may have been less aggressive in my timeline for Christian Watson than Christian Watson is.
We had a swimmer at Wisconsin. Wasn't there a Bacon that swam at Wisconsin, too?
There was, yeah.
Won a medal, no?
I don't know. Swimming was not my forte. It was track and field.
Is it an Olympic year? Then I forgot.
But Christian Watson moving around pretty good. Now, again, 5.5 months removed from surgery. I don't know if that means he's ready to sprint down the field or cut and move around a football field, but he did look like Christian Watson, and I think that is encouraging. And maybe he will be
I
able to come
think-
back sooner than later.
I'm
That was the
guessing
b-
you're going to have to turn your fake PhD in, your doctorate degree in, that he's not
Yeah.
going to be back till December. I said, you don't know it.
Well, first
think
of all,
told
I
you this.
said
No.
November. So if you're going to try
No,
to
you
hold
said
my feet to
December,
the
but-
fire. No, I never
So here's
did.
the deal. It did, but we can check the tape.
What
The
is it
bottom
with you?
line
Is today going to be another one of those days where you tell me what I said, like who's on my Mount Rushmore, what I said the timeline was for Watson? Like, if you're going to quote me, bro, quote me accurately.
Yeah, I did. I just quoted you. You said, okay, all right, late November, early December. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Check the tape. Yeah.
Same
Go
thing.
ahead, please. Go.
I think the question is going to be with Christian Watson, not if and what time he's going to be back. I think you're going to start probably around mid to late July. Is he going to be a pup guy? I think you're going to be looking at it, and I don't know. I'm not saying he is going to start the season in against Detroit as the X. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I do wonder if they're going to push. And I remember we had these same conversations about Rashawn J. Gary. Well, he ain't going to be back. He had his ACL. From you, Johnny Conservative, which is fine. And then he came back. I don't even think they pupped him. And then he's practicing one day, and everybody's like, oh, my God. Everybody heals differently. There's a motivation here for Christian to get out there. Now, he's got to be smart. Lord knows the doctors will be smart with him. But do you think that there is a chance after what you saw yesterday, and then you text immediately that lets me know that you were surprised, that he starts this season not on the PUP list? Because I think it was a foregone conclusion. Are you at least willing to acknowledge that that is a possibility?
Possibility,
after what
not
you
a
saw
probability. I still think
right.
you mentioned Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary did start training camp on the PUP, and then he was cleared for individual work about 2 weeks in. And they kept him out of 11 on 11 until like the final week. He didn't play in the preseason that year, and then he was active for the start of the season. He did tear his ACL 2 full months earlier than Watson did. Watson tore it on January 5th. He tore his on like November 7th in Detroit. So that there is a difference there, right? We can acknowledge that.
Certainly.
Look, and again, if Christian Watson was a right tackle, maybe I'd have a different perspective. But what he's got to be capable of doing, knowing the medical staff and how conservative they are, even though Doc McKenzie is approaching retirement and Dr. Mikey has replaced him or is taking over for him, they are still going to be a conservative bunch. And I would also argue that from a perspective of protecting players from themselves, you're 1,000% right. Christian Watson has all kinds of motivation to get back ASAP. He's in a contract year. At the same time, that's when you make mistakes, right? And you push it a little bit too hard, and maybe you have a setback, and then you're really in a less than ideal negotiating spot. So we will see what happens. But yes, the most pleasant surprise I saw yesterday was him moving around, no brace. He stretched and jogged with the team. We did not see him sprinting. I don't think he's there yet. We did not see him cutting. It is a process, as you unfortunately well know from the 2 times you did it. One other thing that you know a lot about is Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
And there is no better time than now to upgrade your windows and doors, because Pella is offering up to 6 years of zero financing. Set your free in-home consultation today. You commit to nothing at this point. They'll listen to your vision, suggest the Pella materials and customizations that make it become a reality. Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Certain restrictions do apply. This deal of May is coming to an end. May 31st, this deal ends. So visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
My question about this exchange is, should I have given Matt LaFleur a courtesy laugh? A few of my colleagues laughed. Maybe they were genuine. They weren't laughing with me. They were laughing at me. I don't know. But I remained focused and stone-faced because I wanted an answer to the question, Judge. We will share that exchange with you and get your thoughts next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Turn those hoop dreams into reality with Precision Sports, your one-stop shop in southeastern Wisconsin for Mega Slam, Ironclad, and Dominator basketball hoop systems. Installation of new or old hoops and completely customizable painted court lines. PrecisionSportsOnline.com.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals, to kitchens full of inspiration, to bedrooms designed to help you find your best sleep and relaxation, IKEA's home furnishing combines form and function to fit any lifestyle and budget. Visit IKEA Oak Creek today or explore their collection online at ikea.com/US.
Born in the heart of the earth, natural diamonds rise up like the notes of a song from the throat of Mother Nature.
Rick, that was positively poetic.
Mother Nature sings diamonds.
Sarah, wow, you can sing.
Born in the heart of a plasma chamber, created diamonds fall softly like snowflakes from the heart of a star.
A star that shines like true love.
Natural diamonds are earthborn.
Created diamonds are starborn.
Kessler's has the largest selection of natural diamonds in the state of Wisconsin. All the different sizes, all the fancy shapes.
Give her a fancy diamond.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
Bigger, brighter natural diamonds.
And financing that makes anything possible.
Kessler's is the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America.
Which means we can do anything we want to do.
For you.
Mother Nature sings diamonds.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Nestled along the shores of Lake Michigan, the Knickerbocker Hotel offers a timeless escape in the heart of Milwaukee. Immerse yourself in the rich history of this iconic landmark where charm meets modern luxury. Picture yourself enjoying breathtaking lake views, luxurious rooms, and dining at one of the finest restaurants in the city. Whether you're visiting for a weekend getaway or a special occasion, the Knickerbocker promises an unforgettable experience. Your perfect stay awaits at the Knickerbocker Hotel. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockeronthelake.com.
Make plans to stop by Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden, the perfect spot to meet up with friends in the Third Ward. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
All right, let's do this. So, I like Matt LaFleur, and I think he likes me. I think he likes me. I know he said some nice things at the Tundra Trio during our visit that were very kind, and I appreciated them. So I am not great at the I don't mind being the butt of a joke, but I wanted the juice to be worth the squeeze. I didn't find this funny personally. I felt he could have done better. I want you to judge it, but more importantly than judging the joke, I want you to help folks understand what he's doing by making the joke and avoiding the question, and then largely then avoiding it again, or at least excuse-making again, when I re-ask the question. Here is the exchange via Packers.com between Matt LaFleur and I when I asked about Jordan Love in 2025. In year 3, for you guys to do what you guys want to do, what more do you need from Jordan, not just from a leadership perspective, but staying healthy and production-wise?
Yeah, well, some of that stuff's out of your control. I think any one of us, week one in that position that he got into in Philly, it probably would have been much worse. Maybe not for a physical specimen like yourself, but for most of us, it would have been much worse. So I think a lot of that's just out of your control. He does a great job of controlling what he can control and doing the necessary things from a workout perspective, from a rehab perspective. So, you know, it's a game of football. There's going to be unforeseen challenges, but I thought, all in all, I thought he handled himself as good as you could have, considering the circumstances last year.
Notwithstanding, I am curious though, are there certain things from a production standpoint, if he's healthy?
No, I was just talking with Jory about this earlier today. I think it's funny. I think there's like a narrative out there that for whatever reason that he wasn't as productive as the year before. Well, I mean, he missed significant time. He missed the better of 3 games. Really, it was Indy, it was Tennessee. He went out in Jacksonville, and then he went out in Chicago. So, you know, 3 games is a significant amount of time, and you're going to be you're not going to produce as much from a numbers perspective but from what I've seen, you know, and then also there was, let's be honest, I mean, when we talked about this, we did have a lot of drops last year, and so there was other circumstances that play into it, and I think all in all, I think everybody's going to be better, though.
Tausch, your thoughts?
I think obviously your physical specimen joke, I thought it fell flat. No laughter needed on that. It didn't really even fit.
You could tell he was trying to get it in, too. Like, you could see the look at his face. He was looking for the spot to get it in.
Yeah, it didn't fit. But I appreciate, again, his confidence and I like where Matt LaFleur's at. As far as the Jordan Love component to this, I think he understands Jordan is going to be under a lot of pressure. He doesn't need to add more by commenting on, well, he needs to do this, this, and this. And just basic math tells you, yeah, he missed 3 games. His stat line isn't going to be as good, but
he knew that's not what we were talking about there.
No, I understand that, but he doesn't, just like back in the day, it was the media can ask you whatever question you want. You can't control the question, but you can control the answer. So Matt LaFleur did there very well. And he doesn't, he's already, I think, when he was with us or in some of his other press stuff around the draft, I think the being more vocal was one of the things that I found the most interesting, because I think Jordan Love, going into year 3, you mentioned the Rodgers thing to him, and we'll hear that later. There is going to be you need to elevate your game. And I just look at from watching last season, he obviously was not as healthy as we'd like to see him. He did not make the same amount of plays with his feet. So that limits a little bit of your production. But really, it all comes back to the consistency. And, the biggest red flag that I saw last year was there wasn't one time. And I've asked you this question numerous times this offseason. I've asked myself it. Was there any game that you walked out of the building or watched after watching TV, the game on the road, where you thought, boy, that was a consistent 4 quarters of really efficient offense?
No.
I didn't have any.
Nope.
And therein is what I think all of this other stuff is just window dressing. Therein is what I believe Jordan Love needs to get to. And part of that is experience and understanding. You don't need to rip 150 yards a quarter. And you don't need to do – you need to do what is asked and what you need to do. And there were games, and some of my biggest criticisms were you made some of these mistakes when that wasn't what the game was asking for. If you're better than a team and you see that your defense is smothering somebody, just don't give them anything. Go about, be consistent, go win the game. I think understanding what is asked of you. You don't need to put on the cape. And I know I've said this before, but it's true. Clark Kent wins a lot of games in the NFL. You don't need to be Superman. And I know Superman's coming out. There are games you need to throw that cape on, go do it. But if you're constantly if you're constantly having to throw the cape on, old girl at the house ain't going to be happy because you ain't ever around. You're always out fighting crime and saving cities. You got to sometimes sit down and put a candle up on the old table and have a meal. Just be normal. Just be Clark. And I think that's where Jordan's trying to figure out what that balance is going to be moving forward. I think that's what the team is looking for. And that's why the Josh Jacobs and this new receiving core to help him not have to feel like he has to do that, because I would guess some of those bad decisions were the result of, I got to do more. And that's not where Jordan's at in his career right now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he elevates his game. We will hear some of the conversation with him. I thought he was really good in response to my question about that. He was also really good when I asked him about that leadership thing and the process, because you have to still be yourself. You can't be someone you're not, but you can be more vocal. And in talking with Jaden Reed, in talking with Josh Jacobs, he has been more vocal, according to them. And those are his teammates talking about it. So they've noticed that he has stepped a little bit out of his comfort zone with that. So I'm going to write about that later in the week, and we'll hear more about that as we go along. But I want to get to Jaden Reed. I want to get to Jordan Love. I want to get to a lot of things today because yesterday was super productive. I have more stories than I know what to do with. But I also know that I have more great customer service from Associated Bank than I know what to do with. They're so good. They expect what I need before I even ask for it. That's how good they are. That's how well they know their customers. They've been doing it for us for over a decade now. They'll do it for you as well. So go to AssociatedBank.com. Find out more about all the great perks that come with being an Associated customer, from early pay and credit monitoring and fraud protection to Packers, Badgers, and Brewers checking. AssociatedBank.com for everything you need. We'll get to more from OTA practice number 2, open to the media practice number 1, next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp recently surveyed more than 16,000 people and found that while 75% of people believe it is wise to seek support, only 27% of Americans are actually in therapy, and people stay silent to avoid being judged. BetterHelp has more than 10 years of experience matching you with the right therapist. We are all better with help. Visit BetterHelp.com/timeout for 10% off your first month of therapy today. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC, Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Breese Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
Take your game to the next level with Vortex Golf. This employee-owned brand out of Wisconsin brings you premium rangefinders like the Blade, Blade Slope, and the Anarch, packed with features like image stabilization, pin spotter mode, and rock-solid accuracy. Backed by a legendary no-questions-asked VIP lifetime warranty and unmatched customer service, Vortex has you covered. Ready to upgrade your gear? Visit maplehillgolf.com and search Vortex to see the full lineup. Vortex Golf, you can bet on it.
The power of Dell AI with Intel Inside is transforming the world of pro sports. Teams can see curveballs coming with predictive analytics. Coaches can use AI insights to help players improve their shots in real time. And fans can get more out of every winning moment with AI-enhanced replays.
Unbelievable! What a play!
See how Dell Technologies with Intel Inside can power your wins at Dell.com/win.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Before we move on, I know that our friend Michael in the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube chat, he's a bit of a pot stirrer. He says he's a big fan of my work. If that's true, then I'd be curious what he says about the reporters that he doesn't think very highly of. But I just want to address this. Michael says, Jason's fake narratives. If you think that Jordan Love needing to elevate his performance in year 3 as a starter like Aaron Rodgers did. I'm not saying he's going to win the Super Bowl this year, but if you don't think that Jordan Love elevating his performance this year is a real narrative and a real thing that he needs to do, then I can tell you who disagrees with you. Jordan Love. Because he acknowledged that. Now, did he set a bar that was extremely high with the final 8 games of the 2023 season? Undeniably so. But to suggest that he does not have to play at a higher level, he doesn't have to take the world on his shoulders. The Clark Kent Superman thing is a great analogy. But are you of the belief, Tausch, that he doesn't have to play better than he did last year?
No, I've been saying it all. I've been saying it for a while. What I am not saying is he needs to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to clean up the mistakes that you're making in critical points in critical games, and understanding what your team needs from you. Like it's not just this is what I'm going to do every week. As a quarterback, you need to obviously play your best as often as you can, realizing you're not going to be perfect every week. But you do have to get an understanding of what does my team need from me this week.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing a juggernaut offense on the other side, you're probably going to look at it and say, I probably need to be more aggressive and I need to make more plays. If you're playing a team that can't move the football but is defensively is very good, you probably have to understand, well, this is what I need to do. And that just comes from confidence and understanding and being around. So there's nobody that's going to say Jordan Love doesn't have the talent to do what he needs to do. Now it's have the understanding of what you need to do and then be consistent in what you're doing. And when you get to that point, that's when you elevate the rest of your team.
All right. There was a question asked of Love later about him taking a step back. And he took issue with that. And I don't disagree with him there. But he did not take issue with the idea that he needs to be more productive and eliminate mistakes. He also did not.
Well, so I do have a question about that. Because
sure.
Now we heard LaFleur say it. I have not heard Jordan say this, but you just mentioned it. We also have to deal in facts and reality. Now, I am not saying Jordan Love stunk last year by any stretch.
No, neither am I.
But was Jordan Love as good last season as he was? Okay, I understand he didn't play well against the Giants and Danny DeVito. DeVito. I don't know. Tommy DeVito. There were some games where it wasn't, but when you look at his 8-game stretch at the end of that season, that's what we all were expecting. The fact that he was injured and was not able to do things, that is factored into the evaluation. But let's not sit here and try and spin a narrative that he was better than he was at the end of his first season as a starter, because he wasn't.
No.
And I don't want to sit here and pile on and say this and this and this. But let's also not just poo-poo it and say, well, no, he was just as good. Well, no. That's just not accurate, because he was better than he was in the beginning of his first season as a starter.
Sure.
But I think, and I know myself, I looked at his second half really from that Thanksgiving game against Detroit all the way through in Kansas City, and I looked at him as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I did not look at him that way last season, pretty much for the whole way. There was a difference. So for all of the spinning and everything else, we also want to make sure we're dealing in facts.
I included those numbers once again in my story today on channel3000.com because he wasn't he was the best quarterback in the league over that 8-game stretch. The numbers were these: 70.3 completion percentage. 2,000. This is over an 8-game span, remember. So think about, multiply that times 2, and you've got a 16-game season numbers on this. 70.3 completion percentage. 2,150 yards, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception, 112.7 passer rating. That's what he did in the final 8 games of 2023. Now, that is an Aaron Rodgers-esque run-the-table, torrid pace that not even Aaron Rodgers himself could keep up for an entire season. Even in his MVP years, he didn't go 36 touchdowns, 2 picks. And so I'm not saying he had to be that guy. But to suggest, A, that he's not capable of that, I wouldn't say that. But B, to suggest that he couldn't have been better than he was even with the injuries he dealt with, I don't think that's accurate. And I don't think Jordan does either. And again, Jordan Love, I got some folks in the YouTube comments again to say stop dragging him. Jordan Love doesn't need you to defend him. Jordan Love owns things. Not all quarterbacks that I've covered have done that, but he does. And that's one of the great things about him. And I think he's going to have a much better season this year than he had last year. I'm not dragging him at all, but he's got to play better. And I don't understand why that's such harsh criticism and why some of us feel the need to treat him with kid gloves. He doesn't even feel like he needs to be treated that way. I think that's one of his best qualities. So, look, he was 25 touchdowns, 11 picks last year. His completion percentage was 61.3. And yes, 33 drop passes is a hell of a lot. Tied for third most in the league. All those things factor in. But to suggest that he doesn't need to play better and is not capable of playing better, I'm not saying that. I think he is a good quarterback who has a chance to elevate his game to a level where we're talking about him very differently than that tiered Pro Football Focus thing that had him 12th.
Can he elevate himself to be a tier 1? Since we talked tiers this week, can he elevate himself to be in the same conversation? I'm not going to put him in Mahomes, but with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
I think he can. I don't think he will. I think that's probably another year away if he's going to do that. I think he can be in that next tier. He can be better than Justin Herbert. I think from a throwing perspective, he can be better than Jalen Hurts, although Jalen Hurts does not get enough credit because he throws the ball pretty damn well. From those guys in that tier system from Pro Football Focus, I don't think he's going to be in the top 4. I don't think I'm going to put him ahead of Joe Burrow either, even though you are kind of wishy-washy on Burrow. But can he be 6?
Just wait a second. No, I'm not remotely wishy-washy. He is in the top of the second tier. He's not with those other guys. There's not.
Yeah, wishy-washy was not what I wanted there.
No,
all right, I misspoke.
Nothing wishy-washy about it.
You're
very stout.
But you're not wishy-washy. You're meh on him. You're not like.
No.
What are you? All right, you tell me what you are on Burrow.
I'm realistic. I'm being realistic. He is not in the same league. He's not with those guys. He doesn't have an MVP. His teams haven't made the playoffs. Joe Burrow doesn't
Lamar
have
Jackson
an MVP,
have a Super Bowl appearance?
No. Does he have a ring?
I don't know, you get AFC
Joe Burrow
and
had
NFC
a great run,
championship
and
rings?
I'm telling you, Joe Burrow, listen, if you're going to sit there and say, I'm saying he's the 4th best quarterback in the entire NFL, and that's some shot at him, it's not.
Can Jordan Love be better than him this year? Do you believe Jordan Love could surpass him this year?
Surpass Joe Burrow?
Mm-hmm.
Not this year, no.
Okay, well then we basically see it the same way.
No, we don't. Jordan Love doesn't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. He doesn't. That matters. Jamar Chase just was the Triple Crown leader in receiving. He didn't have 33 drops. Joe Burrow didn't. Joe Burrow's stat line was dynamite last year.
But he's a product of having
Lamar.
better talent around him.
Sure. At wide receiver, yes.
Okay.
Not at O-line. Not at running back. Not at tight end.
We will move past Joe Burrow. I still don't understand exactly how you feel about him then. He's the fourth best quarterback, but he's really only the fourth best quarterback because he's got Jamar Chase.
I don't understand what you don't understand. He is being crowned. He's like Andy Murray in the tennis thing. Hold up a second. You got Nadal,
you don't like people
Federer,
that are crowned unnecessarily.
You got Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic. Okay, You got three greats, and they always say the big four. Okay, the big four. Well, I look at it the same way as in tennis. Andy Murray is a very good player, won a couple of big championships. He had a really good career, but he is not in the same. He's not the same as those other three. And I know Josh Allen and Lamar have not even been to a Super Bowl, but they've been MVPs and they've elevated their groups in a way that's different. Patrick Mahomes, I don't even know where you'd put him because Djokovic is the greatest tennis player of all time now. And I don't know if that'd be a disservice to Mahomes if I said he's Djokovic because Federer is more beloved. All I'm saying is Joe Burrow's a really, really good quarterback. He is really good.
See, Pete
but
Sampras?
It doesn't mean he has. Sampras is great.
Is he Ivan Lendl? Stefan Edberg? Boris Becker? Bjorn Borg?
I haven't.
Jimmy Connors?
That much.
John McEnroe? I'm going to name all of the tennis. Andre Agassi. All those guys have two things in common. One, they're all great tennis players, and two, like Tausch, I know they all love Coors Light.
I can't make that same claim because that would be liable if I did. I would hope that they would. If they want to sit back and relax, Coors Light is brewed with that three-step cold process, cold lager, cold filter, and cold package, so it's made to chill. Born in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado in 1978, Coors Light is refreshing. It is crisp. It's only 102 calories. That's why there's always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Today is the last day. I know we have one more Coors Light read as the day goes. If you notice the sheet, this is going to be its retirement party today. It's been a great sheet.
Are you going to cry like Nadal?
If I get
Roland Garros,
you don't want to give it a proper burial at University Ridge tomorrow when we're out there. That feels like a good place for it.
Maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll burn it and start a little fire tonight.
Spread the scraps on the U Ridge on the opening tee.
Maybe.
All right, I'm going to call an audible here, Jesse, because I don't want to get into more audio until the start of the 10 o'clock hour, and we're clipping along here at such a great clock management. Let's play trivia now. What do you say?
Wow, sure. Let's do it.
All right. What category is it, and what caller would you like?
The Red Hot Milwaukee Brewers, today's trivia category. 4 in a row for the crew after another walk-off win yesterday. Love it. They are one game over 500.
Caller 501.
I don't know. Caller 19 for Robin Young.
Hey, all right. Caller 19, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 19 for Wilde and Tausch Trivia, presented by Vortex Golf. Again, you'll have a chance to win a Vortex Golf rangefinder and swag bag if you're the contestant, and then you get more chances with every correct answer you get. Caller 19 right now, 844-770-3776. We will play next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Your chance to spend an afternoon on the links with ESPN Milwaukee is just a tap away. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open happens July 15th at the Ball Golf Course, and we're inviting a lucky ESPN Milwaukee fan and 3 guests. Hang out with your favorite ESPN Milwaukee hosts, play around at one of Wisconsin's most popular courses, and enjoy food and drinks throughout the day. Open up the contest tab in the ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to win this fan foursome with ESPN Milwaukee.
Hi, it's John Reeds from Great Midwest Bank. Looking to simplify your everyday banking? Our checking and savings accounts offer the tools you need, plus the friendly, Simply Local service you deserve. Enjoy competitive rates, 24/7 online and mobile banking, and real people ready to help right here in your community. Whether your checking balance is at midnight or stopping by one of our branches at noon, Great Midwest Bank has you covered with a variety of new and improved account options designed for your unique needs. Great Midwest Bank, Simply Local and member FDIC.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRAFFIC25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code TRAFFIC25.
Are you dreaming about summer in your backyard yet? Landworks handles projects of all sizes. From a cozy pocket patio lush with greenery to a grand outdoor hosting space and everything in between. Locally owned and operated, Landworks prides themselves on exceptional customer service and a personal approach to all of your landscaping needs. The Landworks team of experts will work closely with you, making your property shine all year. Experience the Landworks difference. Visit landworkswisconsin.com. That's landworkswisconsin.com.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talking about our friends at Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Get out of your house this summer and go to Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay and Milwaukee and Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road circuit that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. WeatherTech Chicago is up next on June 6th through the 8th. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
At QC Kinetics, we're all about keeping you in the game, helping you get lasting relief from joint pain. That's why we're excited to announce that QC Kinetics is now partnering with the National Pickleball League. So many of our satisfied patients are avid pickleball players, and they're thrilled with how we've helped them get back on the court. As lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League, we're committed to help pickleball fans of all ages with the latest, most advanced regenerative cell treatments. These treatments use your body's own healing power, revitalizing and restoring damaged joint tissue the natural way, with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Whether you're a pickleball fanatic or enjoy golf or running or tennis, stay in the game with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, proud to promote active, pain-free living as a lead sponsor of the National Pickleball League. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
So yesterday, Jesse bullied me into doing a Terry Bradshaw imitation. Which, while it wasn't as bad as Tausch's Gaelic pirate, it wasn't good.
It was received positively, I would say.
It was, yeah, and I'm not hearing it. Like, again, our friend Frank Caliendo is the gold standard. Jesse does voices. He's good at it. But he dumped Terry Bradshaw on me. The guys on the damn sports show, Walter and Corey, thought it was great. But as Tausch, I'm sure will point out, they just think everything I do is great because I'm their hero. It was not good.
I don't think I've ever said that.
You yeah, okay. Again, check the tape. But it was terrible. Well, now Jesse informs me that I have to try and be big voice guy.
Yeah, I was wondering that because you had to step away a little bit yesterday, and Vortex, the big voice guy, never came on, and Jesse just did rangefinders, I don't know. And I'm wondering, did we lose that file?
We did.
I don't understand how that goes away.
I don't either, but here we go.
It's a long story that won't make sense to anyone. I'll tell you off air, and you won't even understand what happened.
I don't really care that much because it's
I guess I lost interest too.
It's time now for trivia, big voice guy. Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Vortex Golf, rangefinders you can bet on. Not as good. I think
your Bradshaw was better.
I think you know who I can do is that guy that does the Westwood one, like in and out of halftime. If you're listening to the Monday night game, now back to the One Call That's All Studios and Jim Gray at halftime. Speaking of gyms, let's welcome in our contestant. It is Jim on the South Side. Jim, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. The sun is out, and glad to talk to you guys.
We're happy to have you. Now, quick question, since I did step away briefly yesterday. I was seeing some chatter that Tausch was going to perhaps participate in trivia yesterday. What did I miss?
No, it was geography. No, I don't participate on geography. I play. I jumped in.
Right. I'm sorry. Play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that will not be the case today. You're going to participate as a person asking questions. Is that true or false?
Yes, I'll have question 2. I will take question 2 today. Absolutely.
So, Jim, the category is the red-hot Milwaukee Brewers who have responded to Jesse Nelson calling for their manager's job by winning again and again. It's been a great,
couple of gritty wins.
Yeah, they've got an edge to
the
series.
I like it.
So, question 1, Jim, is this. Which of these things did the Milwaukee Brewers accomplish for the first time this season with their 6-5 win over the Boston Red Sox yesterday at American Family Field? Was it the first time sweeping an opponent this season? The first time winning after trailing by 2 runs? Or first time not giving Jesse anything negative to say?
It was the sweep, and I knew that before the choices, but I'm not cocky enough to wait for the choices.
I think
let
that's
that swagger
savvy.
out, Jim.
Yeah. No,
let
smart.
that swagger out a little bit.
Smart. Hey, you don't get any bonus points. You don't get the extra entry that Tausch calls for. Smart. Good job.
I think you should. And if you know this, show a little swagger here, Jim. We'll maybe even give you an extra entry.
We won't.
Assure you that. We'll
that's not allowed.
I said we might.
ESPN Wisconsin Contest.com. We don't mess with the Vortex swag bag, Tausch.
If I may, which Brewers player continued his hot streak over the last 2 weeks with a 4-hit game as part of Milwaukee's win yesterday? Is it Caleb Durbin, Joey Ortiz, or Sal Frelick?
It was Sal Frelick.
You got it. You knew that before. I feel like Jim's a little gun-shy this morning. You knew that one, didn't you?
I read it this morning, but then I was not sure.
Yeah, smart. Okay.
You're a smart guy. Smart guy. All right, question 3, Jim, and a chance for a clean sweep and 4 entries for the Vortex Golf Rangefinder. The question is this. After a positive minor league rehab start this week, which Brewers pitcher is expected to start on Sunday when the Crew visits the Philadelphia Phillies?
Woodruff.
Oh, he got a little arrogant.
You pushed him into this.
I
you
did.
Know that, right?
Hey, I apologize. Why don't you hear the questions before you answer?
Come on, we can't do that. He answered Woodruff. It's one of the choices.
You're right.
Jim, you can't. You got bullied into that courtroom.
I didn't bully him. I was building confidence.
He got bullied.
The choices were
he got misled.
Brandon Woodruff, Robert Gasser.
Gasser.
I've
heard it both ways.
Josh Gasser. Or Jose Quintana. What would you have answered had you heard those answers? Would you have still said Woodruff?
I still would have said Woodruff because I read this morning they expect him to start on the next home series. So
that's not in
mind.
Philadelphia then.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's a tough break for you, Jim. And again, I think
how many
Tausch
rehab starts
blame.
Woodruff got?
They had a little setback.
Like he's on his 18th. I feel like he's on his 18th rehab start.
He's making the Timber Rattlers some
doing?
money, is what he's doing.
So, Jim, when you waited for options, you got 2 right. When you blurted out your answer, you got 1 wrong. So you've got 3 of the possible 4 entries, and
but
you
he got
didn't
some
get any bonus
attaboys.
entries.
He got some attaboys, though. I give him some attaboys. That was good.
His
I like
confidence is totally shaken now, though.
It is. There's no way he's ever going to blurt out an answer again. Jim, we appreciate your loyalty to the show, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. I love you.
I love you guys.
All right, that is Vortex Golf Trivia. I will not attempt another imitation of Big Voice Guy, but I can tell you this. Nothing beats a great night's sleep on a Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhafels. Right now, you'll get a free foundation when you buy a Beauty Rest Black or World Class mattress. Queen mattresses start at just $30 a month when you use Steinhafels 60-month financing. And with Steinhafels 110% price guarantee and 120-night sleep guarantee and free delivery, you cannot do what Jim just did on the last question, and that is make a mistake. You can't make a mistake. So don't overpay for a good night's sleep. Shop Steinhafels in-store or online at steinhafels.com. The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch will hear from Jordan Love on multiple fronts. That starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Bree Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food Store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 9-ounce selected varieties essential everyday potato chips, 2 for $4. 3-count selected varieties Marushan ramen noodles, 4 for $1. 64-ounce selected varieties Sunny Delight, 2 for $3. 12.8 to 18.8 ounce selected varieties Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches, $5.49.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh,
Pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Tausch begins now, and as I said during the 9 o'clock hour, I really do. I love it when we get to talk to players. Now, it would have been nice to be able to work the locker room and talk to some other guys yesterday. Didn't get to talk to Zach Tom, for instance. Wanted to talk to my guy, Dontavion Wicks, because I still think that there's a chance he could be the breakout guy this season. But maybe I'm biased. But we did have 6 players who were delivered to us to speak, and they all spoke for a minimum of 10 minutes, some for much longer. And Edgerrin Cooper was interesting. We'll get to some of the things he said maybe tomorrow. But Jordan Love was the main attraction. And I had a couple of things I wanted to get to with him. One was his own expectations for year 3. And 2, what Matt LaFleur had said after the season about becoming more of a vocal leader and how he goes about balancing his leadership style with doing what his coach wants. And so those were the questions I asked him. And I think I asked them in succession. We'll find out, because here it is.
You know, Matt told us after the season he was going to challenge you to be more vocal. But how do you find the balance in being who you are? Like, we know how you are with one-on-one guys. We were just talking about it, right? But how do you kind of find the balance of doing what he's looking for and still being yourself? And what was that conversation like with Matt when he asked you to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, with leadership and speaking vocally to guys, it's always, you got to be yourself. You know, you never want to be forcing things or sound like a message isn't coming from you, it's coming from somebody else. So it's always trying to find that balance of being yourself. But I think the biggest thing is just having those hard conversations with guys when you know, something needs to get done and it might not be getting done the right way, or might not be handling business the right way. Is just having those hard conversations and not just calling guys out, but just having those conversations with them aside, being that type of leadership. You know, I think I get along with all these guys. I can speak to them very well. You know, that's never been a problem. I think it's holding people accountable with everything we do.
When you talk about you don't use the injuries as an excuse, obviously, but when you look at this being your 3rd season, and I'm not comparing you to the other guy, but he did win the Super Bowl in his 3rd season, how do you kind of view the importance for you to kind of take the next step in your game? If you can stay healthy and be who you are, what do you think you're capable of this season?
Oh, yeah. You know, I think you talk about Super Bowl, that's the goal for us. You know, we talked about that last year, and that's the same message this year, is we're trying to win a Super Bowl. So I'm definitely trying to be that guy to be able to take this team and lead them to that. You know, I think when you talk about Aaron and what he did in his 3rd year, you know, I never try and compare because, you know, that's so hard to do. There's so many different situations that go on. But at the end of the day, like you said, you know, I've been here going on year 6, going on my 3rd year playing, so you know, everything's right there in front of us and for this team. So it's just about going out there executing. But the goal is definitely a Super Bowl. That's the mindset we have, and we're going to put in the work to be able to hopefully get there.
Tausch, how did you think he handled that?
I thought he handled it like a pro.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody should be surprised. Just like LaFleur and really just like any player, when it comes to dealing with the media and dealing with kind of a locker room, you learn, you grow, and you get more comfortable. And the more comfortable you are, the better leader you're going to be. Because there's nothing worse than somebody that's super uncomfortable trying to get up and give a speech or to try and do something. It has to be from kind of the core of who you are, and guys receive things when you know it's authentic. And I think for Jordan knows that. He is, I think, when you're looking at this, how he's handled himself from day one when he was put in a really tough spot, to the COVID, to all of the other things where he didn't get an opportunity. He had guys saying that he couldn't make any wow throws and that he was this and that. I don't even know what he looks like because he never had a jersey on for the first year. I heard a producer on an ESPN Wisconsin show say that. You heard all this stuff, and he has just handled his business, and he's kind of evolved as it's went. And that answer is literally exactly, if you're a PR firm or a front office, it's exactly what you want him to say. Don't run from it. Embrace it and understand that he's getting more and more comfortable, and the more and more comfortable that you get in those settings and the better understanding of who your teammates are, the better leader you're going to be. And I think this is going to be something to watch, because I don't think Jordan is ever going to be Johnny Rah-Rah. I don't think that's who he is. I think you're going to see him be much more of an example guy, and kind of like Charles Woodson in the respect of when he speaks, it's going to carry a lot of weight. I don't think he's going to be, I'm giving a speech before every game, let's get fired up. I think it's going to much more be, hey, this isn't good enough. We need to do it again. Do it again. Really holding guys accountable, and I think that's the messaging that Jordan had right there.
What about the staying within yourself leadership style can you identify with? Because you were obviously a leader on the offensive line, and you could certainly speak up as a group to the group when you wanted to. Were you comfortable with that, or were you more, like Raleigh McKenzie was with you, of, hey, one-on-one helping guys that asked for the help to understand things? But I know quarterback and tackle are not the same. I'm not equating them. But in terms of, personality, you have to be yourself. The other players that we talked to yesterday, especially Jaden Reed and Josh Jacobs, talked about how he is speaking up more in meetings and making corrections of guys, which I don't know about you, but I could see that being one of the things that maybe you don't want to do in a meeting. You're not comfortable because you don't want to call guys out, and you don't want them to feel like you're doing that. So, again, having been in those meetings, what is your feeling about that line between being more vocal and being yourself?
Jordan just said, you can't force it. And I'm probably quarterback, you're thrust into it. I don't care if you want to speak or if you don't. If you're a quiet guy, it's demanding. It's part of the job. And that's why it's evaluated and scrutinized to the point that it is. You could be Anthony Munoz, and if you don't say a word, nobody's going to care because you're Anthony Munoz. You're a left tackle. You're going to go about your job, and that will be the case. Of all the teams I've been on, 16, if you count Wisconsin, I'm not going to go all the way back to high school. The teams that were always talking and having team meetings and having players-only meetings, it's typically when the ball had gone too far, and it was probably a wrap already. You need to address stuff as it's happening, and those little things. I mean, Rodgers was great at in a full offensive meeting room, asking questions and not being a jerk, but basically just saying you need to know that we'd all sit, we'd do the hand signals, we'd go through questions, and it was just making sure guys knew what they were doing.
Right.
And that's not being a jerk. Like, your job is to know what the heck is going on. Now, if you want to ask a left tackle what route Jordy had on, a cover two, you're probably not going to, and you don't put guys in that position unless you want to have some laughs, which was fun too. But holding guys accountable, that's not being a jerk, and that's being a good teammate. Because everybody in there wants to win. And sometimes guys need to learn how to go about doing that. And I think that's where the quarterback has to lead. The quarterback has to know what that receiver's doing. The quarterback has to know what that left tackle's doing. If this linebacker we move a linebacker declaration, and all of a sudden now I know my left tackle's got to squeeze down. I'm hot off that defensive end. It's a big burden. That's why they make big bucks, because that is what is expected of them, and they just want to make sure that you know what you're doing, because it is a reflection on them as a leader if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and you would also say that the quarterback has to play well. Again, not Superman, sometimes just Clark Kent, but has to play well for that leadership to have the maximum impact. Because if he's not doing his job, he can be a great leader all he wants, but if he's not playing at an acceptable or high level, it doesn't necessarily work. Is that fair to say or not?
I would, unfortunately, it's a good question. I don't have the capability of answering it because the guys I played for were stars and did it. Right. You'd have to go and ask a Trent, no offense to Trent Dilfer, but you'd have to go and ask a Trent Dilfer-led team or somebody that has led a team that maybe isn't the greatest thrower of the football and didn't have all the skill sets that a Brett and an Aaron had. Obviously, it's a heck of a lot easier to lead and to have guys follow when you're the best in the business at it, because everybody wants to make sure they're on board. It is more difficult if you're struggling and you're throwing 26 interceptions in a season and you're sitting there calling out certain guys and you're kind of looking at it like, well, if you'd stop throwing picks, we'd win games.
Right. All right, there's a bunch of other things we want to get to today, but we got to make a quick trip to Quick Trip first. Where I was yesterday, I got a corn dog yesterday. I don't know when the last time was I had a corn dog, but it was satisfying. I was very pleased with my choice.
That is fantastic. Life is busy, and Quick Trip gets it, whether you're craving that fresh coffee, a corn dog, a tasty bakery treat. I got those great boneless wings right now. That's going on. We had the juicy chicken tenders yesterday for $9.99. Everything that you're looking for, you can grab a crispy chicken sandwich, perfect for a quick bite, or you can get an 8-piece fried chicken meal that feeds the whole crew. The legend on your plate and flavor that rules the roost. But that's not the only deal that's going on. There's always great chicken deals going on. But now, Kitchen Cravings 5-ounce sirloin beef steaks, 2 for $4. Nature's Touch American cheese singles, 12-ounce packages for $1.99. And Nature's Touch milk is just $1.99 as well. Fuel your day with high-quality taste. Quick Trip is your one-stop for variety, quality, and fast service. You get gas, free air for your tires, clean restrooms, everything. Quick Trip has you covered. Download the Quick Rewards app. Take advantage of all that Quick Trip has to offer. Quick Rewards on every visit. Plus, you can order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip. We'll see you next time.
Next, we'll hear from Josh Jacobs, who sounded a lot like Brian Gutekunst, talking about urgency. We also had a very good exchange about the number one wide receiver comment that he made down at the Super Bowl. And I did think he got a kick out of me pointing out, well, they did draft a wide receiver in the first round, so maybe. I even think I did a little bit of the Brian Windhorst. We'll get to that and more next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Greg Matzek, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything,
you take it. The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards. They're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel. It's a glow-up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
ESPN Wisconsin's Brian Balaga here for my new friends at Surfside. There's only one thing better than Surfside and golf, and that's Surfside iced teas and lemonade plus vodka on the golf course. This golf season, there's no better drink to enjoy on the golf course. Surfside is light, refreshing, and made with real vodka and real brewed tea. Plus, there's only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. Cheers to hitting the fairway, and cheers to Surfside. It's tea time. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde, and Father's Day is Sunday, June 15th. Get Dad something he can really enjoy. Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles. Order at kringle.com and send Dad his favorite flavor, like their bourbon pecan. That's my favorite. To complete the gift, you can add a bag of gourmet coffee to your order, and you will be Dad's favorite child. Go to kringle.com or call 800-4DANISH and have it shipped right to Dad. Kringle.com or 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
Make plans to stop by Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden, the perfect spot to meet up with friends in the Third Ward. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
With 18 unforgettable holes on 250 acres of natural private land, the Bog provides the ultimate golf experience. To book your next tee time, call 262-284-7075 or visit golfthebog.com. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Continuing with the highlights from yesterday's Open to the Media OTA practice. Now, we have not talked yet about Jaden Reed and the meeting and Rosenhaus and misinterpretations. We'll get to that. That was certainly interesting, but in my opinion, that's just my opinion, and I'm certainly wrong frequently. Just ask Paula. I still
what am I asking Paula about? What'd you do wrong?
That I'm wrong. Well, we don't have enough time. We've been on the clock, and I don't want to change that by outlining my
give me one thing.
List of things. I'll let me think of a good one that'll make people laugh. because it's a long list.
I didn't clean a dish overnight, and I heard about that this morning. We're just going to talk about our shortcoments.
Good one. One of the shortcomings that
Dynamite dropping.
that Matt LaFleur LaFleur felt there was in Jordan Love's leadership was not being vocal enough. We obviously heard from Jordan Love talking about that, but more importantly, I wanted to know what guys that play with him thought. And among the people we talked to yesterday was Josh Jacobs, and I thought Josh Jacobs had a very interesting view and very positive review of Jordan Love embracing the challenge that Matt LaFleur issued after the season. Here's Josh Jacobs.
Matt challenged Jordan after the season to be more of a vocal leader.
Yeah.
Does he seem any?
He already doing it. He already doing it.
In what ways are you seeing that? Because he also still has to be true to himself.
Yeah.
And the way he is.
Yeah, I think Jordan. I think he's comfortable. You know, like, and what I mean by that is like he understands this offense in and out. He understands defenses. So now he's at the point where he can just play and really be who he is. But he definitely has been more vocal, whether it's at practice or even in the meetings, man. If he sees something he don't like, he's speaking up. And, you know, that's something me and him also talked about, you know, just about being a guy. You know, you the quarterback. You got to be that guy. And I'm not saying that he's not that guy because he definitely is, but just on a more vocal level. But he's definitely stepped up a lot this year. I've definitely seen a big change in that.
So I really like that about him talking about being the guy.
I love how he interrupts you. That's what I loved.
I figured you might. He was very excited to answer that question. It wasn't even like I'm that long-winded with him. He did that to me earlier, too, because I was giving that stat that I'm so obsessed with about yards after contact. We got to play that tomorrow because he knew the stat, which a lot of times you'll bring up a stat like you with the explosive plays that they had last year. You had no idea. You were like, wow, I didn't know that. Josh Jacobs knew the stat. But what he also knows is Jordan Love and that he is the guy. The fact that Jordan Love is being more vocal and that Josh Jacobs is encouraging him to embrace being the guy, I think those are two very encouraging signs. And you should feel good about the fact that Josh Jacobs feels so good about his quarterback. Agree or disagree?
No doubt. You always want your quarterback to be the guy because they have to be the guy. And what you don't want is to have to fake it and, well, he might be the guy. I thought last year, you know, you had Jordan come in. He did not have his contract. He was not going to practice. And there was a little bit of, you know, not that there was uncertainty because you knew he was going to be the starting quarterback. But now you just see and kind of feel he played last season. You know, he had a lot of good moments. And his teammates saw that. But now this offseason, man, I'm getting paid. I'm one of the top dogs. And I think the word he said it, typically in sports, comfortability is not what you want to hear.
Right.
But there is a sense of you're going to be at your best when you're not thinking and you're just going out and playing. And you don't have all of the, Barry Alvarez used to always tell us, at Wisconsin, don't have all this other stuff weighing you down. Parking tickets and, it's your moped. You want to come in with clear mind, clear heart, just be ready to play. And when you don't have to worry about a contract, you don't have to worry about all that other stuff, you can just kind of free roll and let it ride. And I think that Jordan Love, for the first time, is going to be at that point in an off season, and then you let that build into training camp, and you're more comfortable because you're secure in your spot on the team and in your kind of where you're at on the roster and as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And it takes a little bit to get to that point. Even though you're a first-round pick and all this other stuff, it's still – you still have to go through that process. And your teammates need to see you go through that process to see you become that comfortable leader that it sounds as if Jordan Love is becoming.
I agree with everything you said there. I am curious.
Even the moped thing?
No. That's actually where I was going, because I didn't want to say yep, because then he gets after me. How many moped tickets did you have, and were there guys that it was affecting their performance because they were so worried about the number of parking tickets they had
Jason,
accumulated?
This is where you let the minutia get in the way of the point I was making. Guys,
that's why I said I agreed with everything you said.
No.
It was really good.
Don't get defensive. You kind of called it out, and it's actually a really interesting point.
Perfect.
Because there's obviously big things, family things, and you're in college and you're trying to figure things out. The point that Coach Alvarez was making was, don't let those little things off the field affect the big things on the field. And a parking ticket and a moped violation. Or yes, everybody had mopeds, and there were things. You didn't have your proper licensing on it. Oh, I rode with 2 people. I got a ticket. Oh, da, 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 da. So it's these little things, and that is the stuff that he mentioned that I remember 20-some-odd years later. So while you probably laugh and say, oh, is there a lot of stuff? It's the reminder of when you have other things distracting you, you can't focus the way you need to be the pro, or at that point, the amateur, that you need to be successful on a football field. What are you staring at?
I'm pretty sure that what you just delivered was exactly what I was looking for when I asked about the moped tickets. Like, that was a really interesting, tiny piece.
Oh, you're so
Some might say the minutia of a really good point that you made.
Good minutia.
And I thought it might lead to a funny little anecdote, which it did, you jackwagon. Like, it literally, you did exactly what I was hoping would happen there.
So what are you?
And you
why are you
scolded
yelling
me for
at me
it.
then?
You get hung up
Why
on
are
the
you yelling at
minutia.
me?
I'm yelling at you.
I think you were acting like we were doing Dukes of Hazzard skits with our mopeds and like jumping over canyon pits of gravel. Like I didn't have that. The point was,
were you?
Little things will add up and big things down the road. Don't let that happen. There was some road. I'm going to tell you this. I always loved.
Oh, now
you get up and.
Another good story from the moped question.
Well, just wait a second. I'm not sure this would be a good story or not. But the old days, we'd have to get, the spree. It used to be a spree, which is not enough CCs to get some of us up Bascom Hill. So we'd wind on that bad boy, and it would be, and people would be walking by us as we're driving up Bascom Hill. So we'd go and we'd have to get a 50 cc as the cutoff between being a motorcycle and a moped. So if you got 50 cc's of horsepower, you now went from you'd have to get a motorcycle license instead of a moped. That was the cutoff. And you'd wake up and you'd have an early morning workout, and there'd be just a light dusting of snow. And you always had to make that tough call. Do I moped over to workout, but I'd have to put my feet down like Freddie Flintstone, and you'd get a hell of a core workout because the moped, it was greasy, and you didn't want to flip it, but you couldn't just drive it because you couldn't control it. That was always that battle line that we'd have to do, and then you'd get in and you'd be like, Coach, I got my core workout in. I already mopeded 3 miles over to the stadium, and usually JD told us to kick rocks and go plank ourselves. That's kind of how that shook itself out.
Those were great stories from your time at the University of Wisconsin. And now, many years later, not only are you an alumnus of the University of Wisconsin, you're also a member of UW Credit Union.
For every stage of life, moped stage, Packer stage, radio stage, UW Credit Union, they're here forever you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach your financial goals. And people ask me, Old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Is it to keep your banking local? Well, yep. Member first service, absolutely. Great perks, like early payday. And Jesse, they have this thing where you can actually take a picture of your check and do it that way. I don't know if you heard that, but they have that too. Yeah, what a deal. But honestly, Bucky, how do you say no to that little rascal? If you love Wisconsin like I do and you just can't pay with anything else, fandom will make you do crazy things, but man, does this make sense. Become a UW Credit Union member today. Get your Bucky card like I do. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
We've gotten this deep in the show. We have not talked at length about Jaden Reed. We have not talked at length about the Jaire Alexander conundrum, which continues to linger without a resolution. We'll change that because one of the players we talked to yesterday was Xavier McKinney, and he talked about Jaire. And you'll hear what he said next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Drive into Memorial Day all month long at Cunis. Get the best savings of the year at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Cunis locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. Get huge discounts on the Buick Envista and Envision SUVs or the rugged GMC Terrain and Sierra. Visit your local dealer website for one of our 10 pre-owned super specials. You won't find deals like this anywhere else. Plus, we have unbeatable service specials on brakes, tires, and oil changes.
I'm Brian Bohm, General Manager of Cunis of Oak Creek.
And I'm Bill Eater, General Manager of Cunis of Greenfield.
We would like to invite you to take advantage of these great monthly specials.
And remember that your vehicle will be covered by our exclusive No Fear lifetime powertrain warranty, included with new and qualified pre-owned purchases.
Call or stop in today for your VIP appointment.
Drive into Memorial Day all month long at Cunis.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's a home run! But wait, is your roof ready for the big league storms? If your roof has more holes than a catcher's mitt, it's time to bring in the pros. At Avondale Roofing, we've been handling leaks, repairs, and full replacements with major league precision for over 30 years. And as a GAF Master Elite certified contractor, we bring top-tier quality and proven performance to every job. Whether it's a quick patch-up or full upgrade, our team steps up to the plate and knocks it out of the park every time. You're out! Don't wait till water's in your dugout. Call Avondale Roofing today and keep your home in the win column.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Walk-off winners in the 10th. If you have a minute, why don't we go
give a little glimpse into my thought process. We'll get to McKinney and Jaire in a second. So Tausch and I have been doing this a long time. And he knows that when we do too many Tausch tangential conversations and not enough Packers, I get, as he likes to say, hivey, itchy. I'm itching. So we have gone all Packers all the time for the first hour and 42 minutes of this show. And so my thought, after the mention of the sprees, not the candy, the moped, maybe Tausch get a little itchy. Because it's all been kind of hardcore Packers. So I asked the follow-up. I didn't really understand your reaction to it, but that's okay. And we got a couple of really good stories. I just want to take this time to pause. We'll get back to Packers in a second after the OTA practice yesterday. But have I neglected to give you a chance to have a chance to talk about anything else non-Packers related during the first hour and 43 minutes of the program that you have been itching to talk about? Because that is what makes this show great. And I feel like all the times when I complain about the balance being too much weighted toward your nonsense, I feel like the balance has been far too weighted to the Packers' substance so far today.
No, I am fine. I'm fine. I'm not going to take any pot shots at you here. I am more than happy.
Well, no, please. What was the pot shot going to be? No, because it's worse now that you said that. Because now that's like basically implying, well, if I take a pot shot, then you're going to be sensitive and you can't hack it. So come on, give me your pot shot.
Nothing about hacking it. No, I am. When there is sufficient Packers data to cover, which obviously today, and I would venture to say tomorrow, there is plenty. I am more than happy. Like, I understand why people come to listen to our show. And I also, if there gets a point where I can kind of sense, well, you're getting itchy, I'm good with that. You don't have to worry about old T getting itchy. Old T will be just fine. I'll scratch my back if I need to.
Yeah, good. All right, good. Good to know. All right, because I do want to get to some of the conversation that we had with Xavier McKinney. I do want to get to a couple of other things that we talked about, including the Jaden Reed story, which we have not discussed yet to this point. And I want you to hear what Dr. Matt LaFleur said about Christian Watson, and then said that he's not a doctor, much like I'm not a doctor. So we'll get to all that coming up after I remind you that if you haven't downloaded the ESPN Wisconsin app, I just have one question for you. What are you waiting for? It's free. It's fully customizable. It's got everything you could possibly want from your ESPN Wisconsin favorite shows, from your favorite interviews. You can find Don Makowski there. You can find Robert Brooks there. You can find my favorite Packer that I've ever covered, Dorsey Levens, on there. Everything you could possibly want. And you could skip over the nonsense that you're not interested in. Maybe it's, my physical specimen story with Matt LaFleur. You just skip. I think it's 15 seconds. You can skip at a time. Boom, boom, boom. Get past that. Get to the stuff you want. It's all in the all-new, all redesigned, all free ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN, and you can find it both in the Android and Apple app stores. All right, we'll hear from Xavier McKinney and his take on Jaire Alexander and how the team feels about the idea of keeping him on the roster for another year. Because that's what he spoke about, and I think you'll find his answer interesting. That's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This weekend on ESPN Radio, it's a world. Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
No one should face MS alone. The National MS Society is here so that no one has to. There are nearly 1 million people in the United States with MS, with more than 20,000 of those living right here in Wisconsin. The National MS Society makes sure everyone has what they need to take back control from MS. We embrace and are committed to bringing our entire MS community together, representative of all the various dimensions of diversity. The National MS Society is here for every person with MS. We always will be, until we find a cure. To learn more, to donate, or offer your support, head to nationalmssociety.org.
Baseball is back. Brian Balaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
Your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
There are so many options that are available, so it was nice to have someone narrow those down, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait. Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Myron Metcalf.
At the end of the day, he's the face of this Timberwolves organization. He's been an Olympian. I think coming into the year, I think a lot of people said that dude is next, right? He's in that Jason Tatum, SGA, Luka, the next potential faces of the NBA, even though he said he didn't want to be that. I think what you can't live with if you're Chris Finch is Anthony Edwards not being more aggressive. You can live with the missed shots. You can live with not being able to beat the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. I think the thing that's more difficult to stomach is why wasn't Anthony Edwards doing what he claims he wanted to do? He wants to be like Kobe. He wants to be like MJ. Well, those dudes never went out without being aggressive. Maybe they lost, but they didn't lose like that. So what is it going to take to get Anthony Edwards to realize his potential and to understand his role and responsibility in these moments?
Something amazing is happening in business. More companies are turning to Mac. From finance to fulfillment, CDW will seamlessly support Mac integration into your organization. With the power of Apple Silicon, best-in-class security, and compatibility across your favorite apps, your team will have the performance they need and the tools they love. Make amazing happen. Mac and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/Apple.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde, and Father's Day is Sunday, June 15th. Get Dad something he can really enjoy. Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles. Order at Kringle.com and send Dad his favorite flavor, like their bourbon pecan. That's my favorite. To complete the gift, you can add a bag of gourmet coffee to your order, and you will be Dad's favorite child. Go to Kringle.com or call 800-4DANISH and have it shipped right to Dad. Kringle.com or 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Explain
hard to beat Hall & Oates. Still can't believe you got this in the rotation still, Jesse. I love it. I mean, I'm glad you do. Don't get me wrong. But it's old school, for sure.
I think we'll get some new ones coming here pretty soon, too.
Are you compiling your list?
Yeah, oh yeah. Got the whole notes on the phone built up, so it's time we get some new ones in there.
Any Sabrina Carpenter? Tausch likes Sabrina Carpenter.
I've heard he hears her enough, so I think we're good.
Pink Pony Club?
Pink Pony Club will not be in the rotation, no.
Okay, all right, good. What is in the rotation is hearing from Xavier McKinney talking about Jaire Alexander. He was asked this. I did not ask this question. This was one of the interviews that I missed because there were others going on, so I got to say hello to McKinney on his way out the door, but I never actually got to ask him a question. This was a very important question, and here's how he handled it.
I mean, yeah, we would all like him back. I talk to him every day, pretty much. So just try to stay connected with him. Obviously, we've developed a great relationship with each other. But my thing that I always, try to, talk about is, that's his. His own situation, and I want the best for him. So at the end of the day, like, I'm going to be behind him regardless of, what the situation's going on. We've developed a relationship good enough off the field to where it's like, bro, I just want what's best for you, and I'm going to be there regardless, you know what I'm saying? So I've been vocal about that, with him, and like I said, we good friends. So, but we all, we want him here, and but however that situation plays out, that's how it plays out, and I just want whatever's best for him.
I just want whatever's best for him. Tausch, we all want him here, but he's got to do what's right for him. Can you read between the lines on that for me, or is there no reading between the lines necessary?
No, there's lines that you're reading between, and it's that the money's probably not where Jaire wants it to be. And I think, obviously they're talking daily or a bunch, according to Xavier. And the only reason this thing hasn't kind of been consummated is because the money's not there. Mm-hmm. You've made the decision. I think we've heard and seen the reports that the Packers are more than open to having him back at their price.
Yep.
Jaire, realizing he isn't getting the outside attention from the other 31 teams, and there's no trade and all this other stuff, and realize this can be his best opportunity. And I'm guessing the haircut that the Packers are asking him to take is not where he wants to be, at least right now. So that's where you're hearing all these other reports about him coming and all this other stuff. So I don't think you have to read a ton, just like a lot of times when we report things, you could probably start piecing things together when we're telling you that there may be a certain offensive lineman that ain't super happy, and maybe you can kind of put two and two together instead of coming at us. So in this case, pretty sure Jaire's talking to Xavier, and Xavier says what he said there, and what he's saying there is, you know what, man, I just want what's best for Jaire, and right now, the offer that the Packers are giving Jaire isn't what's best for Jaire, so we're at a stalemate. That's how I read that.
Yes, I do believe you're right. By the way, speaking of that offensive lineman, he was not there at the OTA practice that we attended yesterday. I
thought Jim Matt Molly asked me a great question yesterday on my appearance with them.
Ooh.
Who reports to Green Bay earlier? Elton or Jaire? Because the reason, and I think the answer normally I thought would be easy, would be Elton.
Right.
Because we don't know what's going to happen. But when you factor in the leverage of showing up and forcing Green Bay's hand, I thought, what a really good question by that crew.
Yeah.
And it made me think, and I actually went with Jaire.
I think
because
you're right.
If they don't get it, and get this done, the mandatory minicamp, I would think Jaire is going to just show up and kind of force some hands. But, I don't know where they're at in that process. But 3-4 months ago, I said, you're nuts. What are you talking about? Now I'm looking at it like, I think it might be old 2-3.
So play this out for me, because I think you make a really, really good point. Not even one that I would give a yep to move on. The motivation for Jaire to report is to force the Packers' hand, because they don't want him out there and popping his Achilles out on Ray-Nitschke Field. They want him on the field and getting ready for the 2025 season once he's agreed to the contract that is at their number, that he has taken the haircut that, say, Jim Rutledge took in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, not just a little trim that Matt LaFleur gets every week so he looks on point for $100 a week. Elton, on the other hand, if he reports, he obviously doesn't get fined, but he's the one taking on the risk of going out there and something crazy happening and suffering an injury without any of the guaranteed money that he's trying to get into his contract. So I agree, but the one problem is the one thing that they have is the fining part, which would motivate Elton to come in.
And what I was going to just say is that's where I think with the mandatory minicamp, not next week, but the following week, if my memory serves,
the 10th through the 12th.
That's where I could see Elton just coming in to say what's up. And he ain't going to practice, but he would be not holding in, but it would be the real Marshawn Lynch. Like, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it would actually, a lot of times, I think sometimes just showing up, showing the organization kind of where you're at, that, hey, man, this ain't personal. You know, the organization always tells you, man, it ain't personal, just business. Elton, if I'm Elton, I just come in, grab a snack, hang out, talk to your fellas, have a good time, do the whole thing, go out on the field. If you want to talk to the media, great. If you don't. Have a deal, have a couple days, and head home. That'll be a nice little voyage up to Green Bay, so you don't get fined.
Somebody say a fantastic voyage, like Coolio once sang. All right, I do want to play that Matt LaFleur audio because I'm not a doctor, although Tausch anointed me one, and now he's taking away my medical license on Christian Watson. I want you to hear what Matt LaFleur had to say about him. I want to talk about what it would mean for this team, even with the other wide receivers they have, if somehow Christian Watson is back before the expectation was for him to be back. And again, we're putting the cart before the horse. He's got a long way to go, but there's no denying that there is some optimism and some encouraging signs from him. We'll talk about that during the 11 o'clock hour, which starts in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Mark Tauscher, and if you know me, you know I love our home teams like the Brewers and UW Credit Union. And now, when you open a rewards checking account at any UW Credit Union branch by June 6th, you get 2 Brewers tickets for an upcoming game. Plus, enjoy all the best rewards like early payday and cash back on credit card purchases. Visit any UW Credit Union branch or uwcu.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
I'm Monica Kessler.
Monica makes sure that everything at Kessler's is worthy of a lifetime warranty.
The quality of your ring is incredibly important when it comes to diamond setting, ring sizing, and repairs.
Monica has been part of Kessler's since she was 6 years old.
Let me tell you how to judge the quality of the jewelry you're buying.
It's easier than you think.
All you have to do is read the warranty.
Most stores offer a 5-year warranty, but Kessler's offers a lifetime warranty, the strongest in the world.
We can do it because we put more gold in your jewelry.
When a jeweler wants to make a bigger profit, they put less gold into the jewelry. This makes it thinner and easier to break.
Theirs might look like ours at first glance, but Kessler's jewelry is made not to break, and that takes more gold.
We give you a lifetime warranty because our jewelry is made to last forever, just like your love.
Gold is more than $2,000 an ounce.
Kessler's gives you more gold, a lot more gold.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle Bruston Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath. Even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes. I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me. I'm not giving up, no, not yet.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde begins now. And it begins with Matt LaFleur saying the same thing I did. Look, I want to be wrong. I do. I want to be wrong on Christian Watson. I want him back sooner rather than later. I think they're a different offense with him. It would mean that he's made great progress on the ACL, that he's healed quickly, that he's putting himself in position to still get a good contract, whether it's from the Packers or someone else, despite coming off of an ACL. I want to be wrong. I still think it's going to be November when he's back, even with the optimism. But if he's back late October, love it. If he somehow avoids the PUP list, even better. But I find it hard to believe that this medical staff would be aggressive in that manner, even for a player who has reasons to want to be aggressive. Nevertheless, I did sneak in a question about him at the end of the press conference after the 2-question warning. Matt LaFleur tells us he's not a doctor. Here he is on Christian Watson.
Christian's doing outstanding. I would say he's ahead of schedule, but again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not medical staff, so we'll see where he's at. But I don't really anticipate anything too long term with any of these guys.
So there are a lot of guys that were not practicing yesterday. Kenny Clark wasn't taking part. The Little Rocket, Marshawn Lloyd, who I may have created some buzz about by writing about him. He didn't practice. But again, I don't think there's any major concern there. Matt LaFleur just said that. Quay Walker was riding a stationary bike next to us as we were standing watching practice. None of those guys are believed to have long-term issues. Christian Watson is the one guy coming back from a significant injury.
Is he doing like a circuit, or is he just kind of steady Eddie on that bike?
No, great question. Yeah, it's one of those that's got like the big wheel that's like a fan. Yeah, and it's also got the arm things. And their trainer, their strength and conditioning guy, I think it was Aaron Hill that was there, was doing a count. So like you go at kind of a steady but leisurely, like you on an e-bike kind of a speed.
Okay.
And then he would count down 3, 2, 1, and then you had to hammer it. And so then Quay would for I think 30 seconds, and then he'd go 3, 2, 1, and then he would stop the hard pedaling and go back to the steady, consistent pedaling. So I don't think that he's in a position to be holding in and only riding a bike because he doesn't have a long-term deal, but I suppose I have to at least allow for that possibility after he didn't.
I suppose. I like that. That's rare coming from you. I suppose.
I suppose I'll have to allow for that possibility that he doesn't have a long-term deal and he's playing on the 4th year of his contract because he didn't even get the 5th-year option. But
you're not saying that. I just want to make sure.
I'm not saying that. I'm acknowledging the possibility.
And you're not saying that you're not saying it.
No, I'm not doing the Jesse Nelson. We should be talking about firing Pat Murphy thing. No, I'm not doing that.
Never said that.
I'm not even. God, that haircut looks great, by the way. I don't. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I should probably not be dismissive of the possibility that maybe there's something there, but I don't think so. I don't think he's in position to do that.
Skepticism in journalism. I like that.
Well,
all right,
we're supposed to do that, and we're going to get to.
I'm well aware.
We're going to get to.
More.
We're going to get to the skepticism because I still am going to maintain. Well, we'll get to it next. Let's talk about Christian Watson first because I'm getting ahead of myself again. If Christian Watson is able to come back sooner, how big of a bonus is that? Right? Because that is a bonus. Not even Matt LaFleur, after the injury on January 5th, was thinking, oh, well, hey, we'll have him, mid-season. We'll have him in mid-October. No, he was not thinking that. I can tell you he wasn't thinking that. And now there's hope. How much would that be a boost for this team if they actually did get Christian Watson back sooner rather than later, as Matt Carney sings at the start of our 10 o'clock hours?
I think he, I have been one of his biggest fans. He's my Dontavion Wicks. He adds a level. Now, the question is Matthew Golden going to be that guy that maybe we all hoped Watson would be, that speed burner, down the field? We'll find out what that looks like, but your team is going to be better with Christian Watson on it, especially if he's healthy. If he did come back early, it would be limited in as far as what you're going to ask him to do. You're not going to throw him out there for 70 snaps. And now with this new group, I think you really need to kind of find your role, and then hopefully a couple guys emerge, and it becomes really difficult to get them off the field. He is a difference maker. When he's healthy, he forces defenses to play it a little bit differently because of his speed. That's what you'd be getting, I think, especially if it is October or early November.
And
that would be what I think the biggest thing.
Is that in any way a concern that getting him back early is going to make it more difficult for him to be able to be that guy? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
I
do. I don't get caught up in all that, and they're not going to put him out there if he can't play. He's not going to go out there if he can't play. So if he's out there, it's because the rehab has went well and he's available to the team. I never understand other people's skepticism about other people's careers. It's like, you're making those decisions. You can be skeptical and all this stuff, but am I going to lose any sleep? I'm not. And I would recommend you not losing any sleep either. I think Christian Watson's going to push to get out there and find a way to make – because the problem is he will start feeling pressure. And what I don't want to have happen is you feel that where Matthew Golden has a couple good days and on Channel 3000, oh, my God, Matthew Golden is the next – but he is what Christian Watson would have been if he stayed healthy. And he reads that, and his dad starts tweeting about it, and all of a sudden he's like, I got to get out on the field, man. I'm not losing my spot. Oh, Savion Williams is doing a lot of the jet sweep stuff. Oh, these guys – oh, everybody's kind of finding their role. And then Christian Watson's sitting there like, oh, God. And in fairness, that's, I think – for me, and I can only go off of my experience when I blew my knee out and the Packers didn't bring me back.
Right.
I specifically said, I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't want to read and hear and see people. I ended up going out west for 2 or 3 weeks just so I could train and do my thing and not have to deal. And that is in an era where none of this, it's not anywhere magnified to the same degree. I wasn't even on the team. So imagine Watson being there, doing the bike riding, doing this, and he's got Wildes and Domofsky's coming up and saying, boy, Golden looks really good, doesn't he? Well, it's going to be, and I've always told you this, the physical part of the rehab is cake in comparison to the mental. And that mental part for Christian is going to be a bear. So I think it seems as if, and I could not have been more impressed with how he handled himself last year with everything. He seems to be grounded and in a really good spot. And I just hope he understands what's coming so that he can adjust and handle it in a good way. Because I don't want him, it's going to be inevitable. Things are going to go through your mind. You're going to be reminded of it. You're going to be at the grocery store and they're going to say, oh, my God, I saw so-and-so on that WBAY show talking about how great Golden is and how many reps he's getting. And you I'm just telling you how it is, and you know it is.
I know it is.
And the mental part of this is really hard to deal with when you're already in a fragile state of mind about your own career, your own contract, and your own livelihood, and then you have everybody else talking. It isn't good for you mentally. That's my point.
No, you've been through it. I remember that season. I remember them thinking that Alan Barber was going to be able to replace you. Luckily, they were wrong. Luckily, you were still available. Luckily, you played really well for them. I'm not denying anything you said. I am going to try very hard to prove you wrong and not say those types of things to put extra pressure on Christian Watson, because there is nothing about Christian Watson that I don't like. Like the component of and again, his dad, I want to be very clear, his dad can do whatever he wants as a dad, right? It's his Twitter, it's his son. If he wants to say things, he can say them. I respect the fact that Christian Watson doesn't allow that influence to lead for him to talk in some of the same terms and say some of the things. Like he was the one guy that was genuinely and publicly supportive of Romeo Doubs, which was not a popular opinion because there were a lot of guys in that locker room that were really pissed off at him. And Christian Watson stood up for him. Christian Watson, when he was not getting targets, was not belly aching. And from the conversations I had with other people about him, they said that was authentic. That was not, I'm going to tell the media I'm not complaining, but behind the scenes I am complaining. Because I wanted to know, am I getting duped on this? I wasn't. So I like everything about him. I hope he doesn't put that pressure on himself, but he is in a very tricky spot. I mean, is there a worse time to be coming off of an ACL than going into a contract year? I suppose the only worst time is tearing it during the contract year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I
hope he doesn't rush.
I hope, for Christian, I'll echo a lot of the same things. You have to respect how he's approached this, how he approached last season, how he battled back to play in a game that he probably should not have. I think he's done all the right things off the field, and it's guys like that you root for. And typically I root for O-linemen, and I'm always rooting for players. But in this case, I'm really rooting for Christian Watson. I would love to see him get back early and have a really good, impactful season. And I think it'll help the team, obviously, a ton, too, if he can do that.
I want you to hear some of the things that Jaden Reed had to say yesterday, because he knew the questions were coming about his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, inquiring about his role on his behalf. Maybe not. Plausible deniability for the player. What is undeniable is your love and passion for your Coors Light.
Say goodbye.
Oh,
Say
no.
goodbye. What a run. Hey, what a run. I'm going to have a Coors Light just for this sheet. Coors Light.
Don't pour one out.
Step cold process.
Pour one in.
Cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. So it is made to chill in those mountains. Oh, they are blue. That's when you know Coors Light is chilled to perfection. That's why it is always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And with that, we say adieu.
You euthanized the sheets.
It was time.
What a run.
What a run. I will look. Guess what date this sheet was given to me?
Pre-COVID.
June 2019.
No.
Earlier?
April of 21.
Wow.
Now we
was
did some
married.
addendums. We obviously did some ad-libbing, but this sheet, every day it showed up for me. Every day. And I respect that.
That sheet's been through a lot.
And now it is time to go.
Saw the Bucks win a title.
Kudos to you, yes. And is it a coincidence that since they made that switch, they haven't won jack? I don't know. Maybe.
Coors Light.
I know when the
need
mountains were blue.
sheets.
I know this. When the mountains were blue down at Fiserv, our fans weren't blue. Our fans were giddy. That I know. Yeah.
Coors Light Reed sheet. We thank
run.
you for your service.
Aaron Rodgers was an MVP.
Meanwhile,
Man, you're getting me a little bit choked up here.
Lorenzo Cain was in center field, I think.
Robin home runs. You know what, though? What's great is that you had that sheet there, even though you could talk about Coors Light and ad-lib anytime you wanted. I don't have a sheet when it comes to Gruber Law Offices, but I can still tell you, one call, that's all. How can you forget that? It's like the Blue Mountains. One call, that's all. That's Gruber Law Offices, 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666, or go to the website, gruber-law.com, if you have been injured. Or maybe you're just feeling your feelings about your sheet of paper that you had to say goodbye to. Whatever it may be.
What should I do? Should I just throw it out or burn it, or what do I do with it?
Well, you could burn it and spread its ashes across your desk or something.
You know what? I might be heading back out towards Golden, Colorado this summer. Maybe.
Oh, that would be a proper burial.
You're gonna take a little jar of your sheet.
An aluminum 16-ounce can.
That's not a bad idea.
Yep.
Gruber-law.com is the website, gruber-law.com. We will hear from Jaden Reed next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Your chance to spend an afternoon on the links with ESPN Milwaukee is just a tap away. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open happens July 15th at the Ball Golf Course, and we're inviting a lucky ESPN Milwaukee fan and 3 guests. Hang out with your favorite ESPN Milwaukee hosts, play around at one of Wisconsin's most popular courses, and enjoy food and drinks throughout the day. Open up the contest tab in the ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to win this fan foursome with ESPN Milwaukee.
Your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
There are so many options that are available, so it was nice to have someone narrow those down, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait. Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Take your game to the next level with Vortex Golf. This employee-owned brand out of Wisconsin brings you premium rangefinders like the Blade, Blade Slope, and the Anarch, packed with features like image stabilization, pin spotter mode, and rock-solid accuracy. Backed by a legendary no-questions-asked VIP lifetime warranty and unmatched customer service, Vortex has you covered. Ready to upgrade your gear? Visit maplehillgolf.com and search Vortex to see the full lineup. Vortex Golf, you can bet on it.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman's Brad Nortman. You hear me talk about Carbless and their refreshing flavors all the time. One of my favorites is watermelon, and Carbless just dropped the Watermelon Vodka Cocktail 4-pack. Perfect for chilling, grilling, or game day thrills. You know the drill. Zero sugar, unlimited flavor. Enjoy clean, crisp refreshment without the guilt. That's what Carbless does. Find the new Watermelon 4-packs wherever you get your Carbless. Crack open the taste of summer and get your bliss on.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde, and Father's Day is Sunday, June 15th. Get Dad something he can really enjoy. Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles. Order at Kringle.com and send Dad his favorite flavor, like their bourbon pecan. That's my favorite. To complete the gift, you can add a bag of gourmet coffee to your order, and you will be Dad's favorite child. Go to Kringle.com or call 800-4DANISH and have it shipped right to Dad. Kringle.com or 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talking about our friends at Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Get out of your house this summer and go to Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay and Milwaukee and Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road circuit that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. WeatherTech Chicago is up next on June 6th through the 8th. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
At the Knickerbocker Hotel, we believe your stay should be as convenient and luxurious as possible. Whether you're planning a small meeting or a special event, our versatile space is perfect for any occasion. Start your day with a delicious meal at the Nick Restaurant and Bar, or unwind at the Nick Salon and Spa. Wanting to stay active? Their 24-hour fitness center is always available. If you need something custom made or alterations made, there's a tailor on site. The Knickerbocker, where every detail is designed with your comfort in mind. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockerontheLake.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
So let's get to Jaden Reed. Spent some time talking about him this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Shuey. But I want to ask this first, because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm curious what Tausch thinks. Tausch, is there anything wrong with wanting clarity on your role on the team and asking either yourself or your agent asking on your behalf? Is there something inherently wrong with doing that?
No, I think the issue I had when this all kind of came to light was the timing of it and the public, just the publicity of it. And I heard what Jaden had to say yesterday. I think, a lot of times stuff gets leaked out that you don't necessarily want. Trust me, had everything been leaked from the wide receiver room from 2007 to 2011, you would not – it would just be different how you perceived things, because there was more stuff that went on. And you know what? That happens. It should happen. We don't mind that. Just keep it in-house. Mm-hmm. I think I told you, and I believe because David Bakhtiari hit it on the head, and I knew he hit it on the head at the time, I believe I asked Jesse to do a David Bakhtiari impersonation.
You did. It was better than my Bradshaw.
He refused to do it. I think he ended up, I don't exactly know how that all shook itself out, but how he laid it out on Twitter was exactly how it was laid out. And I don't have a problem with Jaden Reed wanting that. I have a problem if Jaden Reed is pouting and being a baby about it. And by all accounts, he's not. It came across, and this is where perception becomes reality. When you have those things come up and you see that, and that's why Jaden Reed was very adamant about explaining himself. Now, do I think he was upset after Matthew Golden got drafted first? Yes. And I believe I said, I gave the old Eleanor Tauscher quote.
Yeah.
Feel your feelings. Great. No problem with all of that. But then it's how you react. It's, sports is what it is. It's about how you react to the negativity and the, getting knocked down. Nobody will remember that Jaden Reed had Drew Rosenhaus talk to Russ Ball and Brian Gutekunst. If he goes out and has a 85-catch, 1,200-yard season, they're going to say, man, we're happy to have Jaden Reed. He's going to be a great pairing with Matthew Golden in the future. That's what the goal should always be. And the perception of what happened and how it was, and, again, understanding the landscape of how things work in the NFL Twitterverse and media, I think Jaden Reed probably feels a little bit snake-bitten and wants to just move it along. And that is exactly what he should be doing.
So he clearly knew what was coming. And frankly, again, he could have been – we weren't in the locker room yesterday. It wasn't like we all converged on his locker while he was changing and he had nowhere to go. He agreed to come and talk because he wanted to get this cleared up, and he had his things that he wanted to talk about. Now, I do think this. I do think some of the things he said, including, I don't know how it got out there, were he's trying to control and trying to not necessarily put the genie back in the bottle, but certainly damage control a little bit. And look, his agent's job, correct me if I'm wrong, is to take shrapnel for his clients sometimes too, right? Be the bad guy. And so if there is a perception that Jaden Reed was concerned about his role because of the draft, it is Drew Rosenhaus's job to be the bad guy and take that and say, well, it's me and whatever. Now, I do want to be clear on this. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't believe that Drew Rosenhaus was the source of this story to Adam Schefter. And as David Bakhtiari pointed out, him putting it out there to Schefter was meant as, in some ways, advertising. Hey, look how I go to bat for my guy. I went to the team. He hired me, and I went right to the team and said, I want reassurance that he's going to still be the number one receiver. And I got it. I don't think he knew the way it was going to be perceived by other people. I think he miscalculated that. Drew Rosenhaus did. And then that left his client to have to deal with it a little bit yesterday. Here is how Jaden Reed dealt with it.
A lot of people misinterpreted that. Like, I hired a new agent, and we talked about it before even the draft, really, that, he said that he was going to talk to, the front office and everybody here to, just catch up and make sure everybody on the same page. And as a new client, he told me that's the way he was going to do it, and he did it. So now I don't know how I got out because it was supposed to be confidential, but that's how it goes sometimes. People get a different perception, and, they make their own perception, which is okay. But that's how it goes sometimes. So.
No, you know how it got out. That's the only nitpicking I'll do there. Tausch, you said you had heard that already. I do think that it's totally reasonable to want to know how exactly do you view my role here, because he is in a pivotal season too.
Yeah, here's the deal. I think we always tell people, when there's conflict and when there's stuff bubbling underneath, what do you always say to your wife, or do you say to your friends? It's like, don't just hide it under the rug.
Let's talk about it.
Communicate.
Yeah.
Have some communication and get an idea of where that person is coming from. Doesn't mean you have to agree or say, oh, yeah, you're 100% right, but you just feel better about it and it clears the air, and you can go about your business. And it's not always fun to do, but you have that conversation, and you go about it. I think Jaden Reed handled this well.
Totally agree.
I think the fact that it leaked and it made him kind of look, a little insecure about where he's at, that happens too. And it's about how you respond to it. And I thought how he handled it, you could tell he was defensive, and he's a little irritated about it. But it's now a nothing burger. And when you don't address those things, and it sits there, and then that perception continues to build, and you have people saying, well, this is what happened. Now you have straight from the horse's mouth. And yeah, we had this conversation. Anytime someone is drafted, you want to get – there's no assurances. I don't know who used that word assurances. There aren't no assurances. It's you just want some clarity.
Rosenhaus did.
The clarity is you better go play well, and if you do, you're going to be fine. If you don't, hey, welcome to the big leagues. This is how it plays. And I think Jaden Reed can say all that he wants to say and do all this stuff. It's going to come back to just go out and play good football. You do that, everything else is going to play out exactly the way you want. If you don't, you let this affect you mentally and affect. A lot of times it's just let's get this out of my head and let's move on, because I don't care what they say. They drafted a guy number 23 to be number 1. Doesn't mean that's how it's going to shake out. That story is still Natasha Bedingfielded, as far as I'm concerned.
The rest is still unwritten. I am not going to hold you to this. This is not a binding prediction on Thursday, May 29th, the year of our Lord 2025. Does Jaden Reed get a second contract from the Green Bay Packers? Yes or no?
Yes.
See, I think so too. Ultimately, I think so too.
I think he's a good compliment to Golden. I think he has been the most, and again, he did not have the springboard year, but he didn't stink last year.
Totally agree.
It just, the deal is we anticipated him, hey, here's our next Jordy, here's our next Randall Cobb, here's our next Devontae, and again, we forget people were calling for Devontae to be cut in his second year. This stuff takes some time. Not everybody comes into the league and does a Justin Jefferson, or there is some growth that goes. Jaden Reed, I do believe, will be it again. Then the money will come into play, and if he's a 1 or a 2 and how that is viewed. But I think they like Jaden Reed. I think they know his skill set, and I think they like his approach. And I would bet that Jaden Reed, of all the wideouts, I would say he'd be the most. If I had to put a wager on it, that's who I would pick down at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford, of who gets their extension in that room first.
Before I tell you about Associated Bank again, Chris in the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube comments, and I know you don't think I've been doing this, but I actually do have a file on my computer, because I think the Wilde and Tausch Hall of Fame should open on our 10th anniversary as a show, and we're coming up on our 9th anniversary, which also gives me a year to work on all these things and find a brick-and-mortar location. I think Chris hit it. Be careful with that sheet. Chris says that sheet needs to go in the Wilde and Tausch Hall of Fame. And he's right.
Really?
I think that's
one of the lost relics of the show.
We need to have those, right, exactly. Those relics.
I had not thought of that.
What else would go in there?
Interesting. Well, this binder is probably 8 years old.
Okay. We want it to be stuff that people are interested in.
One of the big hats
the
could go in
binder's
there.
interesting. It makes a lot of trips. Like, this tells the story of Wilde and Tausch in a lot of respects.
Did we ever find that cup that was stolen from
the
you?
tumbler.
No.
The tumbler should
what
go
about
in
the
there.
chewed-on pencils? And is it too late to get the Hansel and Gretel poster?
That should be in there. Yep.
That's a tough day.
We'll have to check the Tundra Trio. As Joshy points out on the private talk and text line, the mug, right? Our mug that we gave away for a while.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Tausch's bag of hats that we weren't able to give away.
We need a big.
Yep, the hat bag.
Put
Can we
those
get the TV back?
Put those in the gift shop at the Hall of Fame.
The real question is, who do we get on the mug from this year that will be cut very closely after? Because everybody that comes on and is mugged up is gone, other than Rogers, it took 5 or 6 years. And
true.
everybody, I know the course runs. But City, boom. TJ, boom. Mike, boom.
Yep, you're right. You're right. The mug kiss of death.
I feel like Randall Cobb, maybe it wasn't long, and he was.
I don't think he's on a mug. I'll have to double check.
He's not a mug, but he could have been.
Ian in East Troy says this is starting to turn into the Wilde and Tausch lost and found closet.
Well, some might say it's an archaic relic that people will be interested. Some would say it's the junk drawer. Either way,
the wire hangers.
Those have already been sold. I've got some new ones though. That I need kid-size hangers that we don't use anymore. What we do use is Associated Bank.
Why do you have so many hangers?
Well, it's our very successful Poshmark business, of course. Got to hang that stuff up.
Where are you getting the extra? If you sell all of them, you shouldn't have a surplus.
Well, you don't.
You don't
ship the hanger
to putting them in
them.
drawers?
No, if you sell a shirt.
Yeah.
You take it off the hanger, you fold it up, you put it in an envelope, and then you ship it off to the buyer. You keep the hanger, now you got an empty hanger.
Put the hanger in one of your kids' closets or whatnot. They're going to add more clothes. Then you don't have to go buy a new hanger.
Right, but the girls have all outgrown the small hangers, so that's what we have now are the kid-size hangers. Like Eleanor doesn't need a tiny little hanger anymore. She wears
I'm sorry. Your
clothes.
Kids have just rocketed up and went immediately from kids hangers to monster hangers in
Not
a week?
immediately.
Like, come on, dude.
I've been derelict in my hanger selling duties. I haven't gotten them listed. They've been out of circulation for a while. All right, I need to tell you about Associated Bank because that's much more important than about my hangers. But when I do get money from my Facebook Marketplace buyers and I get cash, where do I go? I go to Associated Bank to deposit it. I can also take pictures of my checks and deposit them through the app because we've got that technology, Jesse. All that matters is we've got the great customer service that is always a signature of Associated Bank. So whether you want early pay, credit monitoring, fraud protection, Packers checking, Brewers checking, Badgers checking, all of that falls under the same umbrella, and that's great customer service. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. Whoa, Nelly is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Ever notice how wine enthusiasts often speak a completely different language? And while that language may technically be English, To most people, it's anything but. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where we stock over 8,000 varieties of wine and speak many dialects of wine English to help everyone, from the wine novice to the master sommelier. So if you need an expert recommendation for wine, or maybe you know what you want and simply need help locating it, our experienced staff has got your back. No matter the budget, occasion, or your level of wine expertise, Discount Liquor will make you feel at home. Discount Liquor, unmatched selection, everyday low prices, a helpful staff, and 2 convenient locations. In Milwaukee on 51st and Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
Born in the heart of the earth, natural diamonds rise up like the notes of a song from the throat of Mother Nature.
Rick, that was positively poetic. Mother Nature sings diamonds. Sarah, wow, you can sing.
Born in the heart of a plasma chamber, created diamonds fall softly like snowflakes from the heart of a star.
A star that shines like true love.
Natural diamonds are earthborn.
Created diamonds are starborn.
Kessler's has the largest selection of natural diamonds in the state of Wisconsin. All the different sizes, all the fancy shapes.
Give her a fancy diamond. We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
Bigger, brighter natural diamonds.
And financing that makes anything possible.
Kessler's is the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America.
Which means we can do anything we want to do.
For you. Mother Nature sings diamonds.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Jesse had all kinds of things planned for Whoa Nelly, but I'm kind of curious if the Carbless Talk and text line has any further suggestions for artifacts for the Wilde and Tausch Hall of Fame Museum.
Oh, there are.
Well, let's find out during Whoa Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa Nelly
on Wilde and Tausch.
Eric in Green Bay, the Titletown brick football from the Field Goal Challenge.
Yeah.
Needs to be in there.
That's hard to watch.
And it was all because of the ball being overinflated. It wasn't Jesse's skill.
Matt in West Bend, CC Sabathia's batting practice pants.
Yeah. Those are staying in my collection. That's not a Hall of Fame collection.
Multiple people, including Matt in Superior, saying Dunzo the Clown needs to make an appearance in the Hall of Fame. He is sitting in a drawer right now, waiting to come back out when the time is right, but the time is not right.
For Pat Murphy.
Jaire protein muffins need to be served as appetizers in the Wilde and Tausch Hall of Fame snack room.
Good news, we still have some, so that's good.
Tucker in Wausau, do you retire a Tony Cartagena producer microphone as the OG producer?
That's another really good question.
Whoa Nelly!
Keep them coming. Tausch, let's plan your schedule. Want to help you here. We have kickoff times announced for the Wisconsin Badgers' first 3 football games of the 2025 season. Let's see how these fit in the Tausch collection here. So Thursday night, we knew it would be Thursday night, August 28th. The opener at Camp Randall Stadium hosting Miami, Ohio. 8 o'clock kickoff on Thursday night on the Big Ten Network. 8 p.m. Thursday night.
That's awesome. Couldn't be happier with that. Whole Labor Day weekend to do whatever my little heart desires. So yeah, I'm on board with that.
We do have a show the next morning.
Ooh. Okay. I'll probably
Hey, Brian Balaga, what are you doing that day?
I forgot about that.
The following Saturday, Middle Tennessee State comes to town. Rivalry game. September 6th, Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. kickoff for that one.
I can live with that. As long as it's not another night game, I would prefer... I'm selfish. I prefer an 11, but I also understand people want to tailgate, and a 3 o'clock tip, I'm good with that. That'll be all right.
And one of the more anticipated games of recent memory, Wisconsin at Alabama in Tuscaloosa, visiting the Crimson Tide. 11 a.m. on either ABC or ESPN. Not even a big noon game because it's an SEC
Not
country.
even a Fox game?
Yeah, it's one of our games. ESPN territory there. ABC or ESPN, 11 a.m. kickoff in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I don't love that. Don't love that, but I think anytime you go on the road, you prefer them starting earlier.
Is that true?
Gives you a little bit more.
As a player?
Yeah, I think you don't want to go into like the swamp at 7 p.m. Everybody's all lubed up. I think there's no doubt when you come in and play a night game at Camp Randall, the atmosphere is different than if it's an 11 o'clock tip.
That's fair. Yeah,
Like, It just is. So if you're going to be on the road, so selfishly, I would prefer. Actually, you know what? After I factor everything into it, I'm going to talk myself into loving that 11 o'clock tip in Tuscaloosa. Never been to Tuscaloosa. I'm kind of excited. That'll be fun.
The food will make or break the trip. Whoa, Nelly!
Whoa, Nelly!
One other notable thing from the Big Ten press release.
Oh, boy.
This is significant to some.
Brett Bielema, is he involved?
So you may recall last year, Wisconsin and Minnesota played on Black Friday at 11 a.m. at Camp Randall Stadium, which for some of us, it was a tough turnaround from the Packers game on Thanksgiving night to the 11 a.m. kickoff the next morning.
It also prevented the annual debate on our show about whether or not we were doing a Black Friday show.
It did prevent that, yes. Well, we can have that debate again this year because... Iowa-Nebraska has the 11 a.m. CBS Black Friday game, and Indiana-Purdue is the Black Friday evening game on NBC. So it would appear Wisconsin-Minnesota, although not official, they haven't announced the day or time of that game, but it is tentatively scheduled for Saturday, November 29th, and it appears it will remain that day.
Good news.
I thought we were going to make that a new tradition, playing for the Axe on Black Friday.
I think they should. I'd like that, and I think you put it right on. Why not you have your 3 TV partners in the Big Ten. Put it in that sweet spot right in the middle. Have the morning game, if that's going to be Nebraska playing Iowa, then have Wisconsin, Minnesota, and if you want to get Indiana, Purdue, good luck to you.
The old Oaken bucket.
I don't know if that's, yeah.
Yep.
What about Michigan State, or something different?
When you think about it, Michigan, Ohio State's always that weekend.
Right.
That takes all of the oxygen on that Saturday anyways. This game is so selfishly, again, I'm looking at this just from my perspective. Saturday's fine because then you can spend Thanksgiving and then fly out on Friday. It'll probably be easier.
And it doesn't prevent your idea of 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6 on that flex scheduling and not having a conference championship game, which you came up with earlier in the week. Whoa, Nelly!
Whoa, Nelly!
So here's my dilemma. It's 11:51, and every time we have like 30 seconds left, I bring something else up, and then we go dangerously long.
Now you're filibustering.
So I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to call
What was the topic you were going to bring up? Tease it for tomorrow.
Caleb Williams makes it clear he's happy as a Chicago Bears quarterback.
I'm glad we're passing on this.
Whoa, Nelly!
I didn't like it. He was not convincing in my estimation.
You know what I like? The American Family Insurance Championship, and it returns to Madison with 2 new exciting changes this year. Wisconsin's own Steve Stricker hosts the PGA Tour Champions event June 6th through the 8th at its new home course, TPC Wisconsin. The AmFam Champ also debuts a new team competition this year. 2-person teams compete in best ball and scramble formats. The American Family Insurance Championship, June 6th through the 8th. We'll be there on the 6th. Get details and ticket info at amfam.com or amfamchampionship.com.
We'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. You remember the moments from that magical March.
Side Decker. It's a 3. Got it!
On June 26th, celebrate the squad with Made 'em Believe, a special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky. The drop stab. That's his favorite. And the 2.
Presented by Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Potosi Varsity Ale, and Potosi Hard Seltzer. Tickets are on sale now at UWHoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Your Pella experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
There are so many options that are available, so it was nice to have someone narrow those down, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait. Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
From on the court to in the classroom and in the community. The Champions for Literacy celebration with Dwayne Wade and Travis Diener will be an evening you don't want to miss. It's a party with a purpose. Hang out with stars and friends and make an impact by raising funds for literacy, setting kids on a path towards college and beyond. Join Wade and Diener on June 27th at the Garage at the Harley-Davidson Museum. Get tickets and full event information right now at wadevsdiener.givesmart.com. That's wadevsdiener.givesmart.com.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey Wisconsin, it's your pal Donald Driver here. For 10 years, I've been working with the Wisconsin DOT to get everyone to wear their seatbelt. And it's working. Nearly 90% of Wisconsin drivers buckle up, which makes me want to say to the ones who don't, come on, man. If you don't wear your seatbelt, you're going nowhere fast. Buckle up. If you don't, it can cost you money or a lot worse. Click it or ticket, and let's work together to save lives. Take my driving safety quiz at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Brewers fans, this is your chance for you and your crew to cheer on our crew while they're on the road this summer. Visit brewers.com/ExploreMN to enter for your chance to win Game Day Getaway Sweepstakes. Presented by Explore Minnesota. One lucky winner will receive 4 tickets to the games on July 21st and 22nd in Minneapolis, 2 nights of hotel accommodations, and a $1,500 Visa gift card. Don't wait, the sweepstakes ends May 29th. No purchase necessary. See brewers.com/ExploreMN for official rules.
The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at UWHoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Mark Tausch, and if you know me, you know I love our home teams like the Brewers and UW Credit Union. And now, when you open a rewards checking account at any UW Credit Union branch by June 6th, you get 2 Brewers tickets for an upcoming game. Plus, enjoy all the best rewards like early payday and cash back on credit card purchases. Visit any UW Credit Union branch or uwcu.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
The NFL has announced its national preseason games. Didn't you do like the Packers radio network for a Hall of Fame game that wasn't played? Am I remembering that correctly? With the painted field in Canton?
I do believe so, yeah. Only pregame to never have a game.
That'll be the Chargers and the Lions. We already knew that. The other national games, Bills, Bears, Bengals, Commanders, Patriots, Giants, and Vikings, Titans. No Packers.
Enjoy the preseason as you see it because it will be a bye-bye with the next CBA.
Completely. 0 preseason games.
I'm not going to say completely, but if the league gets its way, yes.
They want to keep taking money for those games.
Will we start televising joint practices?
I would think not. I would think not. I mean, they're not even letting guys. They're not even letting fans go down to regular first practices of the year. You think they're going to let them start watching joint practices? Like, no, I don't think that's happening either.
The joint practices were confirmed yesterday by Matt LaFleur. They will do one in Indianapolis before that preseason game, and then they will do one in Green Bay with the Seattle Seahawks before that preseason game. That's it for us today. Still plenty to get to from our conversations yesterday. We'll get to that tomorrow. Thanks for coming along for the ride with us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Your first time driving a stick shift. The car, sporty. Your teacher, nervous. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Online Activation Zone, so you can easily shift your direct deposits from your old clunker of a bank to Associated Bank in just a few clicks. You've got this with Activation Zone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Awarded Best of Weddings 2023 by The Knot, The Bog is much more than world-class golf. Our clubhouse ballroom offers floor-to-ceiling windows and a breathtaking full-wall fireplace. Our barn venue was inspired by the on-site barn at Hole 6, built in the 1800s. 2 outdoor ceremony sites and a variety of personalized options. Our venues are perfect for family get-togethers, weddings, showers, graduation parties, or any event you are hosting. Call The Bog at 262-292-0740 or visit thebarnofthebog.com.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Breese Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You can call that one a severe overmatch. Matter of fact, the whole series, when you look at it, when you look at Thunder and Timberwolves,